And it's true. You see, they have their committees, their appointed committees. You don't elect them on every parliamentary seat or bench in every country. You see, they're appointed to them. You also have your panels now, inter-party panels appointed to every Congress and Parliament to make sure this goes through. And as I say, why not? Why shouldn't these guys control the world for another couple of 100 years and direct it into their perfect utopia? And now that they can start culling us off, they don't need us to manufacture it anymore. They don't need us to go off and fight all the wars they'd planned. They're almost finished with the wars. Now the war is against the general population of the whole planet. Overpopulation, they claim, which is nonsense. But what they really mean is the useless eaters. You see, economists don't believe in keeping pets around. And that's where we are now. We're just pets, spoiled pets, supposedly. They're eating all the resources and using the resources that their families, the elite's families, those who have evolved more, it's for those families to survive in the future. And here we are. We're not producing that anymore. We're just basically passing things around in a service economy and using up all their resources that their great-grandchildren should be using one day for themselves. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Slavery is slavery, and if you go into Charles Galton Darwin's book, the grandson of Charles Darwin, it's called The Next Million Years, a massive boast of culling off the useless eaters again, and how the elite should come through, and how the servant class should be basically lobotomized to make them obedient and not too bright. Well, he said himself that the ruling body who are guiding the world, they're the captains of the ship, they won't have lobotomies or anything done to their bodies to make them stupid, because you must retain your survival capabilities to run the ship called Planet Earth. Arrogance, incredible arrogance, but not just arrogance. They have the power, financial and organization-wise, to do so. And they have been doing it, by the way. Incredible. But this article here is from the big man himself, who is going to obviously be in charge of the World Environment Agency. At least all the money for the world and carbon trading will go through his family bank in Switzerland. Isn't that a nice little arrangement? Democracy is wonderful, isn't it? And that's all it is, you see. Governments are just a tool for the real government, the unelected one, to use. Because they use law, and then they force us by law to go along with it. Well, it's the law. You breathed 10 breaths more than usual today because you were jogging. We've got to tax you on that, slave. And Charles Galton Darwin said, there's always been slavery in one form or another. Right, true enough, right through the feudal system. Into the 1800s in some parts of Britain, you had serfdom. That's a slave. You're bought and sold with the land. Then they gave us a thing called democracy, where we're allowed to work for this odd thing called money. And it's much better, you see. It's more efficient to have the slave buy his own clothes, buy his own food, pay for his own rent and so on, accommodation, rather than have to get all these guys going around throwing rags at you. More efficient. And that's what he said. Charles Galton Darwin says, there's always been slavery in one form or another, and we are in the process, this is in the 1950s, we are in the process now of creating a more sophisticated slavery. You couldn't get much more sophisticated than carbon trading, carbon taxes. It's very sophisticated. It's so out of it that the average mind can't get round it. That's why they picked this idea, because no one can prove nor disprove it. Beautiful.